Welcome, everybody, to the Sam Roberts Show, SiriusXM Front Row. Scrubs is back.
Yes.
And here with us is Donald Faison, Zach Braff, Bill Lawrence.
Thank you.
So the new season of Scrubs is on Hulu. I'm sure we've all seen the first couple episodes already. But it's season 1. How are we looking at this? Are we looking at this as a separate body? It's obviously coming off of, well, at least the first 8 seasons. But when you look at it, is this the kind of unofficial replacement 9th season? Or
Is this, look, man, we're, by the way, first of all, Front Row sounds a little too much like Rut Row, which is what that we say often at work. No, we're so grateful to get the opportunity to do this again because I don't know if people can tell when they watch the show. We're all friends in real life. We spend way too much time together. We were picking on each other out there while they were taking pictures of us because Zach is very handsome and does model poses. And
Not true.
You don't think you're handsome?
And so we don't obsess really about what I don't think we're counting the 9th year of the show because it was a spinoff. But for us, just the opportunity to get the band back together. And if any of you, no matter what you do, get the chance to work with your friends, and someone's like, "You want to go back to work with your friends for a while?" You go, "Yeah, why not?" And for me to watch these two, kind of. When I met them both, I mean, Zach was a waiter, and Donald had a lot of success with their kids. And to see them playing, playing grown-ups now and teaching a new band of kids with John C. McGinley and Judy and Sarah Chalk, it's just a gift, man. We're just grateful to have the work.
how do you approach that when you realize, like, okay, we're bringing the show back. The characters have to stay true to who they were because because otherwise the show would have no integrity, but because the audience loves the show so much. The audience loves the characters so much, but at the same time, they're adults now. 16 years have passed. Like, you have to figure out how these characters are the same, but have grown into grown-ups.
I'll let, by the way, you guys want to come here and listen to me talk while you stare at Zach and Donald. So I'll let I'll let them answer it, because the one thing Zach said when we were talking about getting it back together is he said, he's like, "Bill, I'm years old." However, if you've told people, how old are you, Zach?
I'm 75.
Congratulations.
And he's like, "I'm not sure I can go "Ooh" anymore." So
I said to Bill I wanted to really reground the show, and I also didn't want to be a clown. Donald and I are both 50, and we're both very silly, and we are very similar to JD and Turk. But it was important to me that when we dropped in, it's a teaching hospital, and we're really great doctors, and we're really great teachers. And so I wanted the silliness and the camaraderie and all of that to still be there, and of course we have the surreal fantasies. But, over the course of the seasons of Scrubs, it got broader and broader and broader. And I think Bill and I were totally aligned. And let's bring it back to where we started. Everything plays in reality. The jokes that could happen in the real world. And then the heart is all there. But I want to be a real person who's a great teacher. And so the humor can be there, but it's based in reality.
Yeah, I was just happy to be working.
And Donald was happy to be working.
Let's be honest.
also, by the way, we did it in Canada, we shot in Canada. So you you had to get away from your family for a little bit.
Yes. I'm
Let him phrase that.
That's a double-edged sword right there. I was very happy to get away from my very young children and wife, but on the other end of that, that is my support group, and those are my people, so I missed them tremendously.
Oh, man, he threaded the needle.
Gleam in the cube.
I also think, that a lot of us who watch the show have gotten older and dealt with life, and I thought it was refreshing that Turk was kind of beaten down by the whole thing.
Man.
That was great to walk into, actually. I didn't know I knew that. Spoiler alert! You guys have all seen the show, right? Spoiler. Am I allowed to talk about the divorce?
Talk about whatever.
Okay,
man,
I knew that the divorce was going to be something that was going. We knew that early on that they weren't going to be together, but I didn't know what Turk's storyline was going to be. And when I remember Zach calling me, "Dude, Bill wrote you a fucking dope storyline. He wrote you something dope. You gotta work on this." And
because when Donald gets a long monologue in the old days, it was worrisome.
It was very
By the way, sometimes in the morning you cross paths. You psyched for today? You'd be like, why? What's today?
That's the point. That's how the poison dance came about. But but I thought that was such a great thing for my character, and I remember saying to Zach, "I'm gonna cry," and I was like, "I'm gonna cry like big tears," and Zach's like, "Nah, don't do that. I want you to hold it in." And there are takes where I'm crying like tears are streaming down my face, but I'm so grateful that he chose the one where I was trying not to cry, because that made
It's way more interesting, I think, as an audience member, as people do, trying to hold in their emotion, especially someone as stoic as Turk. And I thought your performance in there was magnificent. And I think part of the reason it works so well is that Turk, even though this is his best friend, is trying to hold back his emotion from him.
Yeah. So reading that in the script, I was like, holy shit, they're really thinking about me this time, and I'm gonna have I'm a part of I'm number 2 on the call sheet. It's just amazing. I'm so happy to be back in it in the way that he came back.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, Zach, you were talking about it in a certain way because you directed the first episode, which you had directed episodes in the past as well. Mm-hmm. Was it intimidating knowing, like, okay, it's already kind of, I would imagine, an intimidating prospect to bring the show back at all.
Yeah.
Because you want the quality to be at a certain spot.
Yeah.
But for that direction to be on your shoulders for the first episode.
It was terrifying because he wasn't there. When we did this, this is Bill's baby. This whole thing is Bill's idea. This is one man's vision. Mm-hmm. And when all of Scrubs happened, we had the guy whose vision it was there. And Bill is able to oversee from afar in this new incarnation. But when we made the pilot, it kind of fell on my shoulders to be the keeper of the lore and the world and the tone. And of course, the trickiest thing with Scrubs is the tone, because of Bill's brilliant concept for the show. It navigates drama, comedy, surreal fantasies, all within 21 minutes and 30 seconds. It's really a tight rope walk to get it done, and to come back 17 years later and have the fans go, oh my God, it's the same tone, was really daunting. And also place it in 2026, right, where things aren't the same. So it was terrifying. I was.
Oh, you killed it, dude.
You did such a great job, bro.
Thank you.
Which is, it's also insane that you just played out the exact storyline that your character has.
Well, I said that.
Dr. Cox.
By the way, I said that I had that epiphany while we were making the pilot. I called Bill and I said, "Do you realize this? I'm living the story of the pilot, because Bill has been saying for years, let's get everyone back together and make the show. And we'll have so much fun. It'll be great." And I go, "Yeah, awesome." And he goes, "Yeah, we'll all be together, and we'll make a difference, and we'll laugh together." And I go, "Great." And then I get up there to Canada, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not going to be there." You're the one I trust. You're the one I trust to take the lead. It was literally the story of the pilot.
Yeah. Did you? When did you realize you weren't going to be able to be there?
Oh, at the start.
Yeah, you knew early on.
Come on, man. I'm dancing with sparklers. I'm like, let's do it again. It's going to be great. We'll hang out.
He wasn't exactly forthcoming with how little he could be there.
It's such a good excuse to hang out with people that you'd want to spend time with anyways. And these guys were nice enough to welcome me back then, in editing and doing all of that stuff. But I got to tell you, it's such a weird feeling, and we're so grateful as a group to have anybody still care about this show. And it was so weird to still be crossing paths with people that are like, "Are you going to do that show again?" Or anybody that said the show meant something to them. It so meant something to me. It was a huge part of my life and changed my life and my family's life and stuff. So to watch these two kind of go from kids, just bring this full circle to people along with Sarah that are not only acting and starring in the show, but policing the culture, and making sure the young people are treated the same way the young people were treated back in the days when we started, and being kind to the crew members and all the unseen people that work on the show. It gave me a ton of joy. And I'm not good. My name is William Van Duzer Lawrence IV. I'm not good at talk about feelings and stuff. That's why I have other people, like even though I wrote it, when Donald was talking about how he cried during his speech, I was like, baby.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. Everything that you taught us from the beginning served very well in this way of Scrubs. Like being able to talk to the young kids and express to them how we're not going to be assholes here. That's one thing we're not going to be. There's not going to be a diva here. There's going to be we're here as a group. If you need inspiration, if you need guidance, I'm here. Zach's here. Sarah's here. You know, even Johnny was around a little bit. And
Judy's amazing.
With that stuff too. But this all came from you. Like all the culture that I bring to sets now all came from Bill. Like, and it's rare that you find that culture on other sets too. Like, you go to other sets and you dread having to go to work the next day because that person's an asshole or that person freaking doesn't know how to respect your space.
Was it Denzel? Was it Denzel?
It wasn't Denzel. It wasn't Denzel.
That's weird they would say that about Denzel.
Yeah, that's
I don't want that to.
I know.
But just
He's one of my favorite
blink
actors.
twice if it was Denzel.
I can't blink for the rest of the day.
That's funny.
That was once.
Did you feel like you were put in that position because of your seniority, because you did feel a sense of possession, both of you, over the show, even beyond being the director of an episode?
Absolutely. I think the onus was on us to keep the tone and the spirit, and like Donald said, Bill has a lot of culture of the crew. There's no difference between the crew and the cast. You know, I direct Shrinking too, and the dolly grip will have a funny idea for a joke, and we use it. It's like that communal. That's just the vibe of Bill's shows, and it was on us to bring that to that culture to this new incarnation.
What's it like now for you guys to kind of be walking around out and about doing stuff like this, but for the first time in all these years this week, to be hearing fans coming up to you and talking about this show, but like new episodes, talking about what happened this week?
It's so great.
It's just it's such an amazing thing. Is if I hear a kid say, "Are those two guys from the T-Mobile commercial again?" It's gonna. The fact that I don't get paid for that is ridiculous. First of all,
Are you hurting for cash?
oh, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? But they're so funny in their chemistry. I think what people, and I'll include Sarah and Judy and Johnny in this too, but I think what people like seeing, I hope like vibing on, is you can tell that their friendship is authentic. You guys can probably sense it in here. These knuckleheads would be spending time together and doing things like their podcast together now, even if the show didn't come back. So to have it be back on TV and mean something to people, it's very weird for me to kind of even access how grateful I am. So.
And the fan reaction, I have to say, I think I speak for all of us, was way beyond anything I daydreamed. You know, when the really positive critical response came out, that was one thing that was like, okay, wow, that's great and surprising. But then we were all kind of curious, how will the fans accept this? And just the pretty universal positive reaction to it from the fans has been very, very heartwarming.
Nothing can go wrong now.
One of the
That's something you say. I say it a lot, by the way, just to make Zach uncomfortable.
Yeah, don't like it when he says that.
One of the things I noticed is that you guys made the decision to kind of rip the Band-Aid off. By the end of episode 1, we're now, in the deep end of whatever this news story is going to be. You real quick wrap up. Here's what's been going on since we last left this show. Here's what you missed. And now you're in this world of today. It's not this sort of like, hey, remember this and remember that.
Yeah, we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to be a show that was like, obviously we got Eagle out of the way right away, and there's some Easter eggs for the fans. But the last thing, this is something Bill and I and Asim Batra, who's our showrunner, talked about.
She killed it this year.
We talked about a lot was we don't want to be one of those shows that's like, remember this, remember that. It's not. We can be nostalgic by having the tone be nostalgic and having the friendships be nostalgic, but we don't try and be remember this, remember that kind of show, because I think that's cheap.
Yeah, and but I also think it's a risk in the sense that, number one, you could rely on that, but number two, if people aren't ready, there's sometimes audiences want nostalgia.
Oh, I
right?
get it. I'm a TV fan. You're
Right.
a TV fan. You know, I go back and watch these reboots of shows I love, and you know, I want that comfort food of, especially, man, the world is a bit of a shit show right now. I don't know if you guys are aware. Don't know if you've heard stuff, but that kind of comfort food you get,
Yeah,
you know, of for me, I grew up with these different TV families and loving them, and so, you know, the one thing I would tell these guys is that their authentic friendship to me is the core of what people can look at and go, that's what I was connected to. And seeing that kind of guy on guy kind of, you know, non-toxic male relationship, I think is really healthy. And I think it's still existing. That's the core of the nostalgia for
And
people.
more so today, because you know what Bill wrote into the pilot in the tag. There's that thing about the New York Times article about male loneliness epidemic, which is of course, you know, Donald and I had Scott Galloway who speaks on this on our podcast, and it almost felt like the longing for connection with male friendship was more in the zeitgeist now than it was then, because it's now a conversation about the epidemic of male loneliness, and so it felt almost more appropriate to show a healthy best friend couple, if you will.
And very JD to want to know if he can call his friend once a week and say goodnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming right off of that like trend of everybody making videos going viral of how ridiculous would it be if a dude called another dude.
Hey man, what's going on? Nothing.
Just
Just want to say goodnight.
want to say goodnight. John makes it better, by the way. You gotta say night night. You don't say goodnight. You just want to say night night.
Just
Zach,
just want to say night
night
night.
night, man.
I actually thought it was really interesting in the scene where your characters kind of have that reuniting, that it works so well for the show, but also anybody that's any kind of a fan, like usually when those scenes happen in reboots or seasons after all these years or whatever, you get this feeling like those two actors are also reuniting, like, oh, I can't believe we get to see each other, because you hear the same story all the time.
Yeah.
We're friends, and then we get done shooting, and then we don't see each other again, and blah, blah, blah. But in the back of my head, I was like, these guys have literally been best friends the entire time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you kind of replicate what if we hadn't
We
seen
are
each
that
other?
excited to see each other
Right.
every morning.
Every time. Look, I don't understand.
I don't know what you're
You
saying.
weren't
Seeing them
here
greet
when,
each other
yeah.
back there, man. I'm like, what's going
Stand up,
on? You
hug
saw each other
I saw
last
him earlier
night.
this morning.
That scene, that scene in the pilot where we run to each other down the hallway, that happened in the hotel this morning.
It's a lot. It's okay to watch once a week on TV, but on the daily, it's a lot, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, but I think again, that's one of the strengths of the show. I think to your point, that's one of the things that connect the audience to it. That there is this authenticity, and that even if it doesn't even become this thing that we sense that there's a real relationship there. There's direct evidence. You know what I mean? Like every time you're off set.
I think that's one of the reasons the show works, to be honest, is that the friendships are real. We all truly, this isn't one of those things you say in a press junket. We all truly hang out with each other. We're all very, very close. And there's also the safety net when in terms of being a director of the show and an actor in the show, that you just, on a normal set, you go, hey, nice to meet you. We're playing best friends. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. We're playing lovers. This is 25 years of history.
Yeah.
So there is a comfort with each other that you couldn't possibly make up. And that totally comes through for the audience. I mean, obviously the writing first and foremost has to be good, but what the audience is responding to has a lot to do with that true friendship that isn't bullshit.
How early did you guys realize that you are actual best friends? That you're not, this is going to be one of those things that when this season wraps.
It took about a year.
Well, not that long.
It was about a year.
I'm gonna have a different answer than you.
Listen,
The summer, our first hiatus from Scrubs, Donald got a movie shooting in Manhattan, and I got cast in 12th Night in Central Park at the Delacorte Theater, and we decided we both loved the movie Big growing up, and we're like, we should get a loft like Tom Hanks got in Big.
Bunk beds.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And so,
I get to be on top.
and we literally rented a giant loft in Soho. All it had in it was like 2 beds and a ping pong table.
Oh.
And we spent the summer together, and that's when
That's when it really
our love
blossomed.
flourished.
I will say though, as a producer, okay, and I was young, but these guys were very young. I just remember about 3 episodes into the first season that we had to shoot scenes. Sometimes you start at 7 in the morning, you know, and we have to shoot a scene. And Donald came in, and he was quite obviously hungover. And I'm like, that's no big deal. We don't have to start with Donald's scene. We'll start with the scene of Zach's. And then Zach came in, and he was like, he's like, hey man. And I just remember going, ruh-roh. those 2 idiots.
We had the audacity back in 2000 to actually go out on weeknights.
On weeknights.
And
By the way, after 9, when's the last time you were out after 9:30, man? Oh my goodness, come on.
That's not
9 o'clock is bedtime. But
dude, I remember we used to be like one shot, one drink, and then we go home.
I mean, it's insane to me that we would go out on a weeknight and then go to set. But we were young and crazy.
Do you remember you guys told me early on what they called you sometimes when you guys were out? Do you remember in Scrubs in terms of Scrubs? You were Scrubs.
I was Scrubs.
And I was Black Scrubs.
No, at first he was like...
At first I was clueless.
At first
That's
he was
when we knew the
clueless.
show was working, because everybody would go, clueless!
Yeah.
They'd go, clueless, and clueless guy's friend.
Right. And then it became, hey, it's Zach Braff. And he brought Clueless.
When I first met Donald, we would walk down the street and people would just yell Clueless at him. It was a weird thing to get used to. Like, yo, Clueless!
I watched the show last night. That stuff you did with Cher, Clueless, that was crazy. They knew everybody's character's name but mine. I was Clueless.
Yeah. No,
My life.
I get it.
And now I'm Black Turk. I'm Black Scrubs.
Black Scrubs.
Black Scrubs.
Well, I get it because you just love something, right? Whether it's this show, whether it's Clueless, like whether it's Big Fat Liar, whatever. Like people, generations cling on to it. And then you see a character, and you don't expect to see them in real life, and you just shout the thing.
Or you do crazy things like jump on someone's back for no reason in London.
Oh my God! When people ask Donald if he'll eagle them, I'm like, be
sometimes
nice to
Donald
that
gets-
man. He's got children.
Yeah. He gets mounted without permission.
No,
Is that right?
He does not give consent.
Consent's important.
Well, I will say this. I remember I did a Comic-Con one year, and it was for like Star Wars or some shit like that. And everybody, I remember the people at Lucasfilm were like, listen, no Scrub stuff here. We're going to just strictly do Star Wars stuff here. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, right. Everybody that came in was like, can we eagle, please? And so all of my Star
Eagled
Wars
the
pictures.
whole convention.
Yo, listen, all of the Star Wars pictures are some form of eagling with different fans and stuff like that. If they were too heavy, I would fake it. Stand up behind me. Yeah. I did not get invited back to a Star Wars convention. I haven't been invited back since.
I know it's impolite to say, but is there a moment where the gratitude tank runs dry, where you're like,
I could give you an example that's not for Donald, but look, one of the cool things, we have so many lovely people on this show, and Scott Foley, this always makes me so happy, played a character named Sean on the show. Okay, this is the example of that. Yeah. He's dated Sarah Chalk's character, and Zach's main line to him, because Zach hated him because the guy was with Sarah, you would always, no matter what he said, you would say,
Nobody cares, Sean.
And Scott, who loved being on the show, he always says, that fucking show was on so long that now I'll go on Instagram and go, it is my wife, Marika, and my 19th anniversary, and we're so joyful to celebrate it with our children. And he goes, and the first 10 comments are, nobody cares, Sean. Nobody cares. I just want to say I love my dad more than anybody in the world, and he's struggling right now.
Nobody cares, Sean. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Bill wrote one of the funniest action lines written into a script in history, where Scott Foley was he worked at SeaWorld. And Elliot had broken up with him, and the line said, Sean forlornly rides a dolphin.
We shot that on TV. If you guys are Scrubs nerds, go back and watch. He had to hold on to a dolphin while he looked sad. And get dragged around the pool.
Sean forlornly rides a dolphin.
That's incredible.
It's also impossible.
If I'm
riding a dolphin, I'm excited as can be.
No,
Shout out to Scott
That's what a
Foley,
good
by the
actor
way.
Scott Foley is.
Amazing actor.
Shout out to Scott. If we get to do another year, he'll be back on the show.
I really would love Scott to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a 9-episode series, right?
Yes.
Right now?
That's it.
I mean, there's got to be a lot. Like I would imagine there's no musicals.
No,
amongst the 9.
The coolest thing for us is getting to come back, and if it works, we'd be so grateful if we got to do more. But part of the fun for us is, look, Neil Flynn and my wife, who plays Jordan, Krista Miller, and John C. McGinley, and so many other characters, and Judy are back this year. But there's so many. We want to see Ken Jenkins again. He plays Dr. Kelso. He's an older dude. He's a great guy. But just to make it work so we can get out there and see him again, and some of the other faces that cross through there, it'd be so fun. So we got our fingers crossed.
Yeah, we're hoping we get to do more, and we can have more of those fun fan favorites come back.
Yeah,
and also new people come in. I have quite a bit of fantasies about who I want to direct.
Well, I don't know why you always go down this tangent.
Because I put it out there.
We keep getting asked.
You talked about manifesting.
Oh my God.
Talk about
We keep
manifesting and all of that stuff.
Again.
We keep getting asked, like, what guest stars would you love? And Donald goes, like, I want Ryan Coogler to direct.
I do.
And I'm like, I think the man is busy.
I also would like to have Michael B. Jordan as my kid brother or something.
I would love.
I think
Ryan might have some other gigs besides heading up to Canada and directing a 20-minute episode of Scrubs.
Oh, yeah.
I would hope
busy.
he's a listen. I hope he's a fan.
Right.
And
Ryan,
as a
if you're
fan,
out there,
he would
this
be
is officially an offer, my friend.
Ryan, I know you're getting every offer in the world.
If anybody sees Ryan at the Oscars, see if he wants to do an episode of Scrubs.
Right.
He
might say yes.
He could say yes.
He could say yeah. I love that show.
He's good, man.
Have you met any fans of the show that you were kind of blown away that this person is a fan?
Oh, that
all the time.
All the time. That makes me so happy.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy once.
That was about to say.
Eddie Murphy?
I met Eddie Murphy, and it was around the time, I don't know if anyone remembers back in the day, but Anne Hathaway had been dating someone who went to jail. And he looked a lot like me.
Look on the internet; they're twins. It may have been Zach, and he somehow found.
I don't know
a way
what
to
his.
skip.
He was an Italian gentleman. I don't know anything about his crimes, but he did go to jail, and he was in the news, and he looked identical to me. And I went into a coffee shop, and Arsenio Hall was there, who I'd met a few times, and he brought me over, and there was Eddie Murphy. And I was freaking out, and I couldn't contain my excitement. And he looked at me, he's like, anyone ever tell you look like Anne Hathaway's boyfriend that went to jail? And I was like, yeah, I have heard that. And he's like, yeah, because I was watching the news. And I was like, that looks like the dude from Scrubs.
That's a great Eddie Murphy impersonation.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I was watching the news.
And that looks like the dude from Scrubs. Yeah, many over the years, but that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean,
because Donald and I literally, one thing we share in common is that Eddie is our comic hero.
He would be great on Scrubs. Eddie.
Yeah, there you go.
Great on Scrubs.
Yeah.
He would be great.
Yes.
He should be in the one Ryan directs.
Yeah. Him and Whoopi.
Did you grow up an Eddie Murphy fan? Did you both?
Yeah,
grow up?
Delirious. We were the
kidding
same age, and Delirious was like life-changing. We had never seen, I wasn't allowed to be watching it, but I was secretly watching Delirious, and I was like, I can't. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my whole life.
I remember my babysitter taking me to see Raw and laughing my.
I feel like your babysitter shouldn't have brought you to see Raw.
That's a
My
mistake.
babysitter brought me to a lot of movies that were not appropriate, but Raw was one of them. And I remember laughing, and I was like, "Can we watch it again?" And we stayed and watched it again. It was like
Donald's babysitter is currently incarcerated.
Right.
But still a good seminal experience for him. Yeah.
Zach, when did you make how does an actor, especially a young actor, go like, I have aspirations to be behind the camera and I want to be trusted to start?
I always did before. I went to film school at Northwestern. I knew I made movies with my friends and my brothers at home. I was always in high school. We had a really great TV and film program at my high school. So I knew I liked both, and my plan after I got out of film school was to do both. I was PAing. It was the height of the music video era, 1997. So I was PAing on music videos whilst at the same time going on auditions, and I was just trying to climb both ladders. And I always had the idea that if any one of these clicks, I'll sort of use it to try and do the other. And then my first very big break was getting Scrubs, and I used it as grad school. I mean, there were so many amazing filmmakers that were directing Scrubs, and when other people would leave set, I just hung out at set. I learned so much from watching a different director every single week. But also had the idea, this was going to help me get my script Garden State made. So then it just kind of snowballed from there.
I remember that.
I don't like saying nice things about Zach. No, I do. But I didn't see it at first, but I'll tell you, if he weren't such a good actor, he would be working as a director constantly. I hire him not out of friendship. I'm not that guy. Because he's so talented, he directs Shrinking. You have this new show with Steve Carell coming out called Rooster. He's a director on that. And I almost blew it at first when Zach was kind of setting himself up as a filmmaker. I didn't see it, because I didn't know how talented he was. He was just a kid to me. And now I would hire him to do anything. And my nightmare is I sometimes direct my shows. And my wife, she plays Liz on Shrinking, and she was Jordan in Scrubs. She's in those shows. And even though I often direct her, she'll sometimes, without realizing that she's hurting me, say, "I love it when Zach directs." It's like having a movie director there. And I'm like, no, that's cool. That's awesome.
It's a cool observation you make there.
But Bill did, I want to say to your credit, when he saw Garden State, he was incredibly helpful to me and in shaping it. And Bill's masterful in the edit room, and he really helped me shape Garden State. And then once Garden State did well, he then let me start directing episodes of Scrubs, and then my sort of career was really off to the races, especially directing half-hour TV, which is a very different and specific skill set. And I got to direct the second episode of Ted Lasso, and now I do Shrinking and Rooster, and I've just learned so much, and I learn more every time I do it.
I say this all the time, and he hates when I say this because I think he's a phenomenal actor.
Uh-oh.
But I think he's a better director than an actor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? Whatever.
That is too many compliments for me with Bill in the room.
Do you know how, by the way, you know what
Bill wrote me a Christmas card that was very, very sweet, but it ended with, "I hope this is good for the year."
I'm trying. I'm working on it.
I mean, that Garden State experience had to be unbelievable. I can't imagine the idea of getting something that you wrote as somebody who is not a known director, and I mean, just the process of it starting with you at a keyboard and this thing being in your head.
I saw a lot of it when we lived in New York together.
Yeah.
He did some incredible, here we go with the compliments again.
Ugh.
He did some incredible things that I didn't think I would have never thought of. Like he's an incredible writer as well. He's not just a good director, but he's a great writer, obviously. And he wrote a letter to Natalie Portman and read it to me. He was like, and it was magnificent. I was like, if she says fucking no to this movie,
I'm going to be so mad at Padme.
Padme Amidala is not going to be on my good side.
Donald sees everything in terms of Star Wars.
It makes things easier.
If Padme says no to this, Natalie had actually done a play at the Delacorte. She had done The Seagull there, and so I was in the, if you do a show at the Delacorte, it sometimes gets rained out. It's a whole part of the experience, and you're sitting there in the dressing room and it's raining. And I thought, this would be a good angle because not every actor has had this experience. You thought you were going to do a show and it's rained out and you're sitting here waiting. And so I wrote her a letter from the dressing room there, and that's what got my foot in the door with Natalie.
But it's just it's amazing to me, the idea of you kind of crafting that and it being sort of just like this, can you imagine if? And it not only comes to fruition and not only gets made and not only is in theaters, but then becomes this kind of, I mean, I remember when it came out, it was this generational thing that now this thing that just lived in you is now kind of owned by everybody else.
I think it was a lightning in a bottle experience where it just kind of hit a lot of people that were feeling the same thing. And it was pretty surreal time.
When Bill, for you, now that you're just like on this string of hits, I mean, you've been writing television for a very long time. You've been creating television for a very long time, but there's a wave that's going on right now. Is there a
I didn't expect to have a career renaissance in my mid-50s, man. I'm very grateful.
Is there a pressure that goes with it?
No, you know what? I think one of my greatest skill sets is taking credit for other people's work.
No way, man. You're the blueprint, bro.
Nah,
You're the blueprint, bro.
look, I'm so, if people are silly enough to let me make things with my friends and people who I'd want to spend time with anyway, I'm going to keep doing it. And Hollywood is, you guys know a little bit, it's weird because right now people are letting me make stuff, so I'm going to do as much as I can, as fast as I can, because, before you know it, I'll do something that stinks and everybody hates, and then I'm not going to be allowed to make stuff anymore. It's just the game. You guys all, I made a TV show out of the movie Rush Hour. Did you guys love it? Thank you. I was on television, by the way. Look it up. Swing and a miss. All right. So I'm just so kind of grateful to be not only doing it, but working with people. I said it before, working with people that you want to spend time with anyway. The thing I think is incredibly rare is if you're a fan. I'm a fan of TV and movies, and I'm getting to do stuff with like Harrison Ford and Mike Fox and Steve Carell and Jason Segel and stuff. And when people turn out to be exactly like you'd hope they'd be just as a fan, man, you're so lucky. It's the same in any walk of life, right? And I know this is us out kind of doing press for Scrubs because we love it, but it's not disingenuous. These guys are really this kind and really this fun. And if you ran into them on the street, it would be the exact same way. So that's part of the fun for me.
That's awesome. We got a bunch of fans here. I think a couple of people brought questions. Let's go over to Paul, who's there on the end.
Paul's the man. I met Paul earlier, by the way. We're connected more than Zach and Donald are. I just want everybody to know that.
Correct. Anytime you do a Q&A with fans, you always have to thank Bill for creating the podcast, which of course he did.
If you guys haven't had a chance to listen to my podcast and you're looking for one, look how quiet and uncomfortable these guys are.
I drove on the Warner Brothers lot once where Bill has all his shows, and you have to give your ID to get on, and he goes, welcome back, Zach. I love you on Bill's podcast. This was the security guard at the gate.
Just if you don't know, it's not my podcast, but I'm claiming ownership.
It's totally your podcast.
Question for Donald, though. So I don't know how much you guys have had a chance to interact with the fans since the new episodes dropped. Donald, for you in the emotional scene, which you guys spoke about before, it was a departure for your character from everything we've grown to learn from you over the first 8 seasons, right? I think since 16 years have passed since the show, all of us can identify with feeling burnt out, with feeling anxiety, with feeling the overwhelming stress of, let's say, the pandemic or anything in our change of our lives. And my reaction was somehow to pump my fist when you were giving this speech. I don't know why, but it just happened. For you, while you were doing the scene, what did you draw upon in your experience as an actor and in your real life, or was it just, hey, I'm doing a scene, this is what I'm called upon to do?
It really was about the words of the scene. There are a bunch of triggering words in that scene that brought up emotion for me, like joy, and not to have joy in your life. That immediately was like, you know what I mean? Especially, we all, I don't know any of you at all, but we all, thrive to be happy. We all want to be happy. And imagine being in something that you can't seem to get out of, and you can't seem, being in a funk that just continuously weighs on you, and not having any of the joy in life that you see around you with, there's people that are experiencing this stuff. And for some reason, that's what that word alone was very triggering for me. You know what I mean? That, and I know the feeling of, I think everybody knows the feeling of being disappointed in your friend. And how do you express that without being an asshole? How do you express that with, and still have a friendship after? And that was the other thing, was like, all right, while rehearsing this scene, we were supposed to do it in the first week of shooting, and Zach was like, we kind of got to move it. It's raining and right now, and we're going to move it for a couple of weeks. I got to sit down and really analyze what I was saying to him. And it wasn't just the fact that he was gone. It was the fact that he was gone and he wasn't really thinking about me, you know what I mean? And that hurts, you know what I mean? That hurt. And yeah, man, it's really in the words. All of the things that he says, I think all of us have experienced in life. All of us have experienced burnout. All of us have experienced disappointment in someone. And that's where it came from.
Cool. And Zach, just a quick follow-up. I know we're going to do other questions, but you mentioned recently, I think on the podcast that you just did, that with the 9 episodes that you guys had limited amount, that you're really going to just go all in and throw yourself at this process, like give it everything you got. Can you just like kind of describe to us in that all-in process, what did you find came easy to you? What came hard? What was hard? What made you anxious in those moments?
Oh, thank you. That's a good question. I think the hardest thing that I'd never experienced was the way broadcast TV is made, or at least not always, but in this case, is that while you're shooting next week's comes out. And I was directing the pilot, and now as an executive producer, and definitely someone who's weighing in on the writing in a way that I never had before. We would improvise a lot, but I wasn't weighing in on scripts like I ever before. That was something I can't fathom, both starring in and directing, and now the script comes out for next week and it needs help or work, or I know in the back of my hand that they're already talking about trying to hire an actor, and I know that they're going to cut that character, and people are sending you props, and you're like, I know that prop scene's going to get cut, and it was just an overwhelming amount of pressure. Because we didn't have Bill there, I decided that I would be there for every single scene, and it'd be late, it'd be midnight, and my character's wrapped, and I wanted to go home, but I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can do this if we're lucky enough to get a full order. But for this 9, I will be able to say, for better or for worse, I left it all on the field. And so if it was 2 a.m. and I was wrapped, I would stay there and watch every single take, because I wanted to just be all over it.
Not only was it Zach's first time kind of being a showrunner along with Asim, because she stayed ran the writer's room in the States and he was in Canada, but that is the first time he's successfully done a sports metaphor.
He did it very well.
Did you guys hear that?
That's really good.
Yeah, I know.
It was really natural.
Left it all on the field.
Left it all on the field. I was like, holy shit, Zach.
I know sports.
Well done.
I know plenty of sports.
You
There's
know
hockey.
Ernest Bird song. That's it.
There's hockey.
Donald, you were talking a minute ago about burnout and the relatability and talking to your friends when you're not, overly pleased with them or whatever it is. We see a lot of the ha-has with you guys, and really all 3 of you guys were all talking about how the cast is friends. What do you do when you have this relationship that's so close on a personal level, but also on a professional level, so you guys are working together, when it's like there is something that's bothering you? Or what if there's a day where it's like, I am annoyed that they're hungover. This isn't cute today. This isn't
I was about to say, yeah.
this isn't fun today. This isn't a fun story.
Donald and I definitely get into it sometimes.
We get into it a lot. My wife is a very good mediator.
Casey's awesome.
We kind of have a built-in couples counselor because, well, Casey Cobb, his wife, who's very Southern and does not mince words, and we're on a group chat. And when Donald and I are fighting, she'll just sort of weigh in and be like, y'all need to work this out. And
that's the nicest Southern version of my wife that you've ever done. She usually
used to it a
sounds
lot
like
more
a prospector from
y'all need to work this out.
Y'all need to work this out.
No, I mean, it's Donald and I do get into it. But we're trying to be more and more mature about it, and we had a podcast once where we had to. For those who love the podcast, we almost had to not do it because we got in this huge fight, and it was all being recorded. And we were like, should we even do this now? I don't want to do this now. And then we were like, let's be honest with the fans. Like, we just had a huge fight. We're not going to release it. And then everyone was on the line was like, release the fight. Release the fight. You have to.
Release the fight.
We have yet to release the fight.
I remember the producers of the podcast being like, it's over. I was like, no, we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And she was
I
like,
guess that's best friends, right?
Yeah, well,
when you realize you have this knockdown, drag out, and
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and we got into it once there were some things happening in Canada, but you came up and knocked on my trailer door, and we're at 50, we're a smidgen better at communicating.
I was so bad at it because my wife was involved too that Zach and I, when he would direct Scrubs, would sometimes fight, and rather than have a real confrontation, I would sometimes. My wife played Jordan on Scrubs, and rather than have a confrontation, I'd go, "No, I understand that you liked that part, but I showed it to my wife, and she didn't think it was funny, so I just cut it." And then
I would it's like, so when you're a director on TV, you hand in your director's cut to the showrunner, and you hope that he likes your choices, but because it's ultimately the showrunner's cut, it's his show. And I'd be like, you cut that joke. That joke was so funny. Everyone was laughing on set, and he'd be like, nobody got it. I showed it to my wife. She didn't get it. And I'd kind of be humble and be like, okay, that's too bad. And then like a week later, I'd see Krista. I'd be like, you didn't think that joke was funny? And she'd go, you think I'm watching director's cuts of Scrubs? And I'm like, fucking Bill just fucking lied his ass off.
He's the best at keeping it real when he doesn't like something too. Like I remember my audition for this show. I thought I auditioned 3 times, and every audition, Bill's laughing his ass off. Like he's the champion in the room for you, right? And I go in, and it's now the network. I'm in front of the network, and I'm in front of the studio. And I go in, and I deliver my stuff, and Bill's still laughing. And I'm like, yes. I walk out into the waiting room. I'm sitting down with the rest of the people auditioning for Turk. Bill comes in and says, Donald, I need to talk to you. The rest of the people auditioning for Turk go, fuck. And I'm like, yep, got the part. And I get up, and I walk. I'll use the mic.
Hey.
Yeah, come on.
And I walk out of the. Now, this is all tangled up.
I won't use the mic.
I won't use the mic. So I walk up and I walk out and I'm all excited and I'm ready for Bill to be like, "You got it." And he goes, "You totally blew that audition." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, you blew the audition."
I may have actually said you shit the bed.
No, right. It was one of those things that I was like, "Oh my God!" And he goes, "I need you to go back in there and do what you did in the other auditions." And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know what I did in the other auditions. He's like, and he said to me, just bring it down, relax, let's make it more real, and go ahead. And I went in, and I fucking got the part. Now, if he hadn't said to me, you blew that audition, I'd be probably doing something else right now that's not in this industry because this changed my life completely. And I talk about this a lot, actually, but I've never had the opportunity to thank you.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
For
so cool.
being as real as possible with me in a moment where I really needed somebody to have my back.
I
and
was
you
being
are.
selfish because you're so good. I wanted you to get that part. And in that room, if you didn't go back in, you weren't going to get that part.
Mm-hmm.
And it was your part. You should have, man. So, look, I love you.
Here we go, buddy.
But I wasn't doing you any favors, man. You're so talented.
Thank you.
And so I was hoping to get to do this in front of a bunch of strangers.
But you won't get a Christmas card this year.
Yes,
So
this is
why
for
give
the
one
year.
I hope we're good for the year, dude. All right.
I do want to say, first of all, you guys are maniacs for sitting on that podcast. To not release that fight, you got to release the fight.
Release the fight.
No.
You got to release the
the
fight.
fight.
Because it was trivial.
Things
It
got
was-
heated.
Yeah, it was over some stuff.
Oh, did you guys get mean to each other?
That's great.
No, we didn't get mean,
We
but there was a
didn't
lot
get
of...
mean, but we just got heated.
He was like, I'm angry.
No, I didn't say I'm angry.
Yeah, you did.
One of the things Zach does when he's angry is he always says, I'm angry that
Yeah,
way.
I'm very angry.
That's not what happened. I just remember we had two producers who were like this they were on the Zoom like. Are we done with the show?
I'll never forget Joel being like, so
Is this over?
is it over? I was like, no, we'll be back tomorrow, Joel.
We have one more audience question, actually, while we have a minute.
Sure.
So there's been a lot of talk about the Robert Kelso wing that was seen in the background.
good
of the
Easter egg.
hospital. So any plans on, will that be addressed in this season, and any plans on having Ken Jenkins? I know, Bill, you talked about that earlier. Any plans on having him back?
If we get, I can answer only because I've talked to him, but you can answer too. It's
It's your show, baby.
Ken is 85 now, I believe, and plugging away and doing.
He's a bird watcher.
Yeah, and if we are, this first year was so chaotic. How Zach had to shoot it and how all these guys had to go like this. If we are lucky enough to do another year, we'll make it a great situation. We love him so much. Great situation for Ken to get up there when it works for him health wise, and when he's. But without a doubt, if we are lucky enough to get to do it more,
We'd love to have him back, and he's down to do it. He's just an older guy, as you can imagine, and we just have to. He's retired, and he loves to. I know that he's an avid bird watcher. And,
I miss Pal.
and he's very into his dogs, and but yeah, I know the fans are talking about that, and we would love to have him back, and I know that everyone's worried about Johnny C coming back, and I'm calming lots of people down on the internet by saying we promise Dr. Cox is coming back
This year even.
Yeah, this year.
this year.
This year.
He's in a bunch,
He's in a few more. But yeah, we only had 9, and we had a lot to do in 9 to set up the new world.
Plus, we didn't get a chance to talk. You guys did such a great job. These new kids are lovely young men and women, and they're such good actors. And Joel Kim Booster is a really talented dude.
And Vanessa Bayer.
Vanessa Bayer from SNL. So
Michael. X.
Yeah, we have a lot of great new cast, but we sort of need to set up the new foundation, and then we'd love to have. There's so many people we'd love to have back, but first and foremost would be Ken. We have Neil Flynn this year. We have Krista Miller this year. But
we have Phil Lewis this year.
Hooch.
Phil Lewis.
Hooch is still crazy.
Hooch is out of his mind.
Well, listen,
And Rob Macchio.
I can't tell, by the way, if it's because Zach is a great best friend or a great director, but I've noticed that throughout this entire time you've been subtly adjusting Donald's microphone to make sure that everybody can see. And I think that little, and you've been doing it so subtly that nobody can see it. And I think that it's so great. What
it's
you've been
because
doing.
I'm a director. I can't help it.
That's what I thought it was.
Oh, and also he's being a little freewheeling with his microphone.
Look, I tried to do stand up. I really
taking liberties.
I really tried to. It's the mic.
He spent 45 minutes trying to get it undone from the holder.
Did you guys see that?
I was like, I got a joke to tell.
Did you guys see that interview where Donald couldn't get his microphone off? That's all anybody's gonna say.
Well, guys, I'm so happy that you guys made some time for us. I'm so happy that the show is back and that everybody is enjoying it as much as they are, and that it's as good.
Thank you.
As it is. If you haven't seen it, it's on Hulu. The first 2 episodes. There's new episodes coming, 9 in total.
Yeah, there's we air initially on ABC at 8:00 on Wednesday nights, and then the next day it's on Hulu.
Incredible.
And we always take a great point, not only to people here, but anybody watching. We're so grateful not only to the new people watching the show, but to people that have kind of watched and engaged with us over the years.
And we love your passion.
We kind of vibe off it, and so thank you.
Thank you guys, and congrats.
Thank you so
Let's
much.
hear it for him.